Good day and welcome to another segment of In the Spotlight. I'm Superintendent Michael Richard, and today I'm very pleased to be joined by an art teacher here at West Springfield High School, Miss Charron. Ann, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So listen, let's start off easy here. We'll get the audience at home, my pleasure, get the audience at home to know a little bit about you. So why don't you tell us where you grew up, where you went to school, and how you ended up here in West Springfield?
Sure. So I grew up in a little town in the center of Massachusetts called Broomfield on a farm. I went to Tantasco Regional High School, and then Springfield Technical Community College, Westfield State College, University of Massachusetts, where I'm still a student today. I spent my first 8 years at the Hoylake Public Schools teaching pre-K through 8, and then I brought my expertise here to share with you all in West Springfield 13 years ago. And it's been one heck of a ride in the last 13 years.
Absolutely. I'm going to go off script a little bit here for you.
My guest.
So let's talk about your time at UMass right now. So you're pursuing your doctorate at UMass, and
I am trying.
You are doing a great job with it. Tell me a little bit about the focus of that doctoral work and what you want to do with that.
Sure. So right now I am called what's ABD, so all but dissertation. So I've finished my coursework, and I'm on the cusp of doing the research before I have to then take all of the research, mash it together into something that makes sense in about 100 pages, and spit it out as a dissertation, and then be considered a PhD student. My research right now is walking the cusp of new teachers, their new teacher development, new teacher identity, and what does that mean when you're an artist or an art teacher. So I'm walking both the teacher development line, so my program is called Teacher Education and School Improvement at UMass. And then I have to walk the art line because, of course, I'm an artist and an art teacher at heart. So I'm trying to mash the two of those together, which has become quite a struggle, but I love a challenge, so I'm working through it. And I hope to be done in about 18 months.
Very good, very good. Well, you keep saying mash, and I keep thinking potatoes because Thanksgiving is just behind us, and I know you love to cook.
I do.
So tell me a little bit about, what's your favorite thing to prepare? You probably put together this feast for your friends and family last week.
I was in charge of the gravy last week, and my mom was there, and she told me I did a great job. So that's saying something. So in my family, food is love, and I love any meal that I can prepare and share with people. So whether it's something I prepare for my colleagues or for my students or for my family and friends, as long as they feel that I've prepared something that they care about or that I care about them via preparing the food, I'm delighted.
Very good. You also love to travel.
I do.
And you've been to some pretty amazing spaces. Tell me about some place you've been that's really unique and how you brought that back and made that part of your instruction and in your work with students.
So I'm going to go a little off script and say that when you travel, if you've traveled, you realize that you don't know that much. And that's really what I bring back to my students, because my students are young and they don't have the wealth of knowledge that we have as adults. They don't have the education that we have. So when I travel, I really sit myself in the place of the student. Like, I need to learn. I very rarely travel and just make it pleasure. I really go and try to explore the culture via the food and the people and their art and what they have to offer. And I spend a lot of time thinking about that when I'm in the classroom, when I'm with my students. For example, I was in Peru. My Spanish is rusty, to say the least, and spending time trying to translate the language was a real learning curve. And I appreciate what our students do for us every day in the classroom, because that's what they're trying to do. And how can you not appreciate that? So while I enjoy bringing back the culture, our students have so much to offer. I like to put myself in their seat when I'm traveling and when I'm in the classroom.
Very good. So recently, you were named Massachusetts Art Educator of the Year for 2019.
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing feat, and we're very, very happy for you and for the district. You actually make the third art educator in West Springfield who will hold such a distinction. You join Meg Largy, who's an elementary art teacher, and received the award when she was teaching in Springfield, right before she came to West Springfield, and Amy Carter, who is also an elementary art teacher, who received that 2 years ago. And so now Ann Charron, the third Art Educator of the Year here in West Springfield. So tell me about that award, that distinction. What responsibilities are incumbent upon you And what does it mean to you to have been named Art Educator of the Year?
So it comes from the Massachusetts Art Education Association, which I am a member of and have been a member since my undergraduate degree days. And for me, it's a great honor. It's something I've watched people around me receive and thought, oh man, I just got to keep trying. I just got to keep working. When I'm working as hard or doing as well, or people see me in that same light, maybe I'll get that day. So when I see that my friends and my colleagues achieving this, I was like, this is great. I didn't know about Megan until last night, and I was thrilled to know that. She's so deserving. And I had nominated Amy, so I was beyond delighted. I think I was more excited than Amy was when she got it, because she, again, deserves it so much. Yeah, it's exciting. And Laura Barrett, who was my mentor from 1996 at Magnet Middle School for the Arts in Holyoke, nominated me, and she was a recipient a number of years ago, and it's just something I've aspired to, so I'm really thrilled.
And is there anything that you need to do as, I don't, Miss America's touring, talking about, whatever their cause is. Is there anything that the organization requires of recipients in terms of giving back to the community or sharing out expertise or anything along those lines?
I don't think that they have any other requirements other than it was a task to earn it. Like, there's obviously steps and procedures that I had to follow. I still haven't quite finished a few of them. They want a headshot. I'm like, oh, okay.
We can maybe grab something right from this interview.
Yeah, editing would be great. But other than that, there's an award ceremony in March, and I will attend that, and I've invited some family and friends. And it's during the National Convention, which is in Boston this year, which is fantastic, so I don't have to travel for it, or at least I don't have to travel too far. And other than that, I think I just get to enjoy the accolades.
Good. Well, we're really excited for you. Coming back to the school here, we're here in the high school, and we're approaching, can you believe it, 5 years?
Some days I can, and some days I can't.
In this building. So in February it will be 5 years. But how has the new facility here at the high school changed your instruction, your approach to teaching, to working with kids, and maybe what's the greatest thing that's happened to you and the students since coming here?
So there's two things that stand out for me. One is the art department is together, and that's so important. We have grown by leaps and bounds here at West Springfield High School in the last 5 years since we've landed in this new space, because all of us work together, and we never had the opportunity to physically be together before. And we really enjoy pushing and pulling each other to build our program and be critical and supportive and come up with ideas and feed off of each other. And so that's been huge. The second is the display space. Oh man, I love a display space. So I have display space in my classroom. We have display space in the hallways. We have display cases throughout the school. And I adore being able to show students work and to have students look at their work and look at their classmates' work and build their own ideas around what good art means, and their learning and how they are demonstrating their learning through their work is super important, and being able to just to see it. We never had that opportunity before in the display capacity that we do here. And I think not only is it us working, the faculty working together, but the students being able to see each other's growth has really improved the work that we expect from our students.
And speaking of student growth, we've recently introduced AP Studio Art.
Yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about that program. Sure. and why students are able to take advantage of that, and what they're doing with that experience.
So this year we're offering AP Art Studio, and the course is specifically drawing. Next year we'll offer design. We've been growing the program and knowing that we were ready to do this. We just really needed the financial support. So Mr. Andy Bell and myself were trained in the last 2 years on meeting the AP expectations, which is learning how to use the rubric, talk about students' art, or talk about student art with the students, or how to teach to the rubric, et cetera, et cetera. There's lots of different ways to phrase that. Yeah, and we're just going to hopefully continue to grow the program. This last year, we invited students to participate because word getting out was a little bit tricky. And we were like, well, let's, if we create invitations for these students, hopefully that they'll attend. And boy, did they ever. Next year will be hopefully something that students can choose to select. There are prerequisites required because we really feel like students should have some experience in the arts prior to trying to jump into AP. And their portfolio is pretty arduous, and we look forward to seeing what the results are this spring.
Good. Well, it's exciting times for sure. Mm-hmm. So we're stuck in that time between Thanksgiving and a winter break here, which means
stuck. I don't consider it stuck. This is the perfect educational opportunity.
Snow has already come, and snow will continue to come, but it's also a great time for families to get together and do some artwork and have some fun and decorate together. And I know you've prepared something that we can share with families, and show them how to do some things together. So why don't we cut away for a minute? We'll come back and you can show us an art project.
I look forward to it.
All right, very good. All right, well, welcome back. We've a little quick set change here, but we're ready to do some art. So Anne, talk to me about what we're gonna make today.
All right, so I brought us radial snowflakes. They're what we would call in the biz a crowd pleaser. So kids, doesn't matter what age, doesn't matter what group, have great success with this assignment through some pretty specific instructions. So specific that in fact I brought it to you, a pair of scissors, so you can do this too.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. When we teach this in schools, we're working on some skills, including folding, precision, symmetry, cutting, among just a few of the things that we need to cover. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is take this square of paper.
And that's important.
It is very important. And actually I'm going to point out that this is computer paper, regular, buy it at Staples computer paper, and you're going to fold it into a triangle. This is called a mountain fold. You want your tip of your paper to line up, to the points to line up perfectly as best you can, and then you're going to crease it across the middle carefully. So our mountain fold is ready. Excellent. Right. Fantastic. So the next procedure is turning it so that you have the long edge of the triangle coming towards yourself, and you're going to attempt to put your finger about in the middle of that long line, and then you're going to fold it in half, making another triangle. Again, this is the mountain fold, if we're speaking origami terms. I'm a little rusty. I actually had to go and look at the directions on how to do this because this is not something that I do every day, but I do know after reviewing the directions that my high school students love this assignment.
All right.
Okay, so we have this triangle and it's open on one end. We're gonna put our finger again on the very point of this triangle. Oh, Mr. Richard, you're doing such a great job. And we're gonna fold it in thirds. So watch what I do first, because this is the tricky fold. I'm going to fold it from the point up, and then I'm going to crease it. And the more folds you're doing, the thicker the paper gets, the more the students might struggle. So you got to help and keep your eye on them.
This is
a little bit
like
further, a little
paper
bit further.
airplane-ish.
You're right. It exactly is. Very good.
All right.
All right, and then the next fold, you're essentially going to wrap the other half around it. Now, when I call this a crowd pleaser and say that everybody has success with this, even if you mess it up, you got it. Even if you mess it up, it's actually going to be pretty
It's going to be okay.
It is. It's okay.
It's going to be okay. I can tell already that my folds were not perfect like yours.
My folds are far from perfect. Origami is, one of those things I need to continue to grow and practice on. So I flipped it over so that I have a horizontal line.
Right.
And now I'm going to take a pair of scissors. Now I brought righties and lefties. You get to pick. There we go. And I'm going to cut at an angle to that horizontal line. It can be steep, it can be shallow, it's completely up to you, but you're going to follow that horizontal line.
This way.
You got it. You're going to follow that horizontal line, and you're going to cut those little wings off. Now, I have a friend who teaches, you got it. I have a friend who teaches origami, and she does storytelling to help people remember the pieces and parts.
All right. And this is now disposable.
You throw that away.
All right.
So if you have little ones at home, let me tell you, this is where the fun begins, because they're going to make confetti. And if you're a parent, you might not love the confetti, but
have a shop vac ready.
Love the confetti.
Okay.
So the term that I like to use with students is you're going to take bites out. So you can cut along the folds. Watch first, and then I can help you along. You're going to cut along the folds, and you're going to come in, and you're going to go out at the fold. Now watch what happens when I do that. So I took a bite out on the fold, and then when I open this up, it becomes a symmetrical cut.
So I'm looking at mine, and I'm wondering, I don't know, did I cut this right? Because I'm seeing,
did.
Okay.
Test it.
Well, let's do this. So we're gonna cut in, and then this way.
Yes.
And hence the
You
small
got it.
confetti.
Small
here.
confetti.
All right.
Kids love the confetti. So open it up, and you'll be able to see the shape that you cut.
Got it.
Okay, so the idea is that you can cut any of these places on the fold. You can cut any shapes. This is really good for scissor development skills with the small children.
And you can do as many as you want.
You can do as many as you want. The beauty of this assignment is if it falls apart, you just got another paper.
You get another piece of paper.
You get another paper. There is no upset because you just fold another piece of paper. And once you've shown the students how to fold the paper, they are off and running and independent on their own. And we love some independent learning.
And of course, it doesn't have to be white paper.
No, you can do
this
any
could be
color.
Colored paper. You could color the paper.
You could.
I know
I've
that when
seen students do that.
Okay.
I've seen teachers do that.
and I know that when Ms. Carter was here with us once, she showed us how to make the dip the paper in water to make some different colored paper. All right, so nice. I've made 3 cuts. I'm going to make
So do some on the other side.
On this side over here. All right.
You can make crazy cuts. You can make simple cuts. It's the beauty.
All right.
Now snowflakes, none of them are the same. So trying to repeat that idea is not going to happen.
All right. So
see, there's our confetti. I'm going to encourage you to do a cut in the top.
Okay.
Same idea. Bites. You go in and you go out on the same side.
All right.
You can also cut the tip off where the folds all come together.
All right,
the thinner the paper, the easier it is to cut. So if you're doing with small students, you might want to choose thinner paper.
Feeling comfortable now.
Excellent.
Now I open it up.
With your own art. I'm impressed.
Well, there's lots.
You can do it.
I can.
Excellent.
And it looks like I didn't make all of my cuts perfectly clean.
It takes
I've got
practice.
some things. Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with practice.
I work on my
And you know what? There's a lot of growth that happens pretty quickly once you've made your first snowflake.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. So that's 2. Why don't we hold those up for the camera there? There's 2 very unique snowflakes.
Very unique snowflakes.
Now what can we do with this once we've...
So I chose to mount this one on colored paper and then cardboard. My students who practiced this yesterday afternoon, they were really excited. They thought that they could induce a snow day if they hung these in the classroom windows.
Unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
But I bet they're going to keep trying.
You never know what might happen in the future. Mother Nature, she's tricky.
Very good, very good. Well, Ann, that's a fantastic project. Very simple, easy for folks at home to do, and the beauty of this, of course,
every age level loves it.
You have just now provided an online tutorial that people will be able to go back and watch over and over again. So, well, it's been a pleasure to be joined by Miss Ann Charron. Again, Massachusetts Art Educator of the Year for 2019 and Outstanding Art Educator here at West Springfield High School. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for joining us.